Greetings and hello, fellow mystics, psychics, and spiritual seekers. My name is Richard Tracy, and I am the owner, operator, founder, and visionary of Circle of Mystics. And I help mystics, psychics, and spiritual seekers build confidence in their intuitive abilities, discover new techniques, and master their psychic skill set. And I'm broadcasting to you from the ancient depths of the forest in the heart of the Canadian Shield. I bid you good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be across the world's 25 time zones, drifting through the illusion of space and time. And I am truly glad that you have found your way here. So I want to welcome you to the Circle of Mystics podcast, and I'll be your guide on this journey. Once again, my name is Richard Tracy. And tonight, we are diving into something powerful, your life purpose. Cue dramatic music. And how your intuition holds the key to unlocking it. This isn't just another feel-good talk. We're going to explore how recognizing and trusting your inner voice can transform your life. And by the end of this episode, you'll know the signs of your intuitive gifts and practical ways to develop them so you can align with your life's mission. 10 years ago, I was in a dark place. Depressed, burnt out. I was being bullied at work, struggling with my health, substances, you name it. And every day felt like a battle that I could not win. But strangely, this suffering became the catalyst for my spiritual awakening, a full-on Kundalini awakening, to be exact. And so for those that are not aware, a Kundalini awakening is kind of like if you were to imagine a million motivational speakers blasting spiritual energy throughout your entire body. Starting at the root, the base of your spine, and then ascending all the way up to the crown of your head up here. With that surge of spiritual energy, the psychic abilities like clairaudience, clairvoyance, claircognizance came online strongly and never left. Even though these experiences were profound, I started to question the nature of reality as I understood it and my place in it. Many of the beliefs and paradigms I had that I had been living by, they began to kind of unravel and leaving me with deeper, more unsettling questions. Like, who am I really, though? And what is my soul destined to do beyond this material world? Or where does my soul come from? Or what was I doing in past lives? Right? So these aren't exactly the lightest questions to ask. And if you've found yourself asking these questions, you might want to listen to the rest of this, because you can get some practical skills to help you discover that on your own. But those questions, asking them can be, so as I said, they're not the lightest questions to ask, and it was disorienting at times. But deep down, I knew the answers were out there. And I felt that if I just kept looking, I'd find what I was searching for. So I kept following these hunches and these intuitive nudges that I would receive. And one of the first things I did was start a meditation practice. Twice a day, 20 minutes every day. And that was life-changing. my intuition just skyrocketed and my overall quality of life improved. I also began spending a lot of time in the forest, as you can see, which became another major shift. And when I was out there, I was in the forest twice a day, every day. I would do my workout in there before work, and then I would go for a nice long walk in there after. And all that time, we're not going to get into what that does to your aura, but that's for another episode. But what happened is I started getting insights and things I couldn't explain. I would just know things or have visions of myself guiding people I had never met before. And these moments were surreal and powerful. And I realized that meditation and time and nature were helping me connect with something deeper. During one of my meditations, I asked, what is my purpose? Now that can be an existential question, right? But we'll go into that one, how that can evolve and change over time. And I remember in that meditation, seeing a red flame and hearing the word passion. And that was the spark that I needed. And so I decided to dive into things that I was passionate about. And at the time, and still is, that was studying spirituality and the occult. Another thing that happened too was, I mentioned that I was having these visions when I would be in the forest of me just meeting people. I could tell with the way that the interaction was happening that these people were coming to me for guidance and counsel in those visions. And though it was just the way that the energy felt and the way the image was being portrayed to me clairvoyantly, that it was like a mentor type of teaching, guiding role. But anyway, it became clear that when I kept my mind clear through meditation and time in the forest, as well as that whole food plant-based diet, but we won't go into that right now. But those two things, and following my passions, I just became magnetic, right? And opportunities and people aligned with my purpose just started to show up. I realized that I could help others by sharing my knowledge and giving guidance. Sometimes someone would come to me for guidance or counsel, and I would hear words that didn't feel like my own normal vernacular or words that I normally wouldn't use. But when I shared them, people's eyes would light up and it would resonate with them deeply and spark their own profound insights. We all have our normal kind of vernacular and lexicon and baseline of language that we will use. When you're in that type of environment or that situation and you're being prompted to share something in a certain way, and it just clicks with the other person like that, it's a special experience. But this brought me a sense of fulfillment that was indescribable. And I started giving private sessions and hosting small workshops. And the work felt more aligned with my soul than anything I had ever done. But here's the key point. While all of this was unfolding, I was also experiencing this psychic phenomenon. And that guided me along the way, kind of confirming that I was exactly where I needed to be. So, with that being said, let's dive deeper here into the 4 primary clairs, right? So 4 types of intuitive abilities. and how they can guide you toward your life purpose. So we're going to start with a very popular one that's fairly well known. It's clairvoyance, right? So that's clear seeing. And there's many different types of clairvoyance, but the most common way that people experience clairvoyance is when you have vivid symbols, vivid dreams, or mental imagery. Your intuition might be showing you glimpses of your path. And these images contain meaningful insights about your purpose. So for example, you might repeatedly visualize a specific career, a place, or an activity. And this could point to how the work or in the environment meant for you. Or you could, for example, have these visions of seeing a garden, right? Or a guitar or something. And you just notice that you keep having these images flash in your mind. And it turns out that you have a passion, you've got a green thumb, you're passionate for gardening. And then that leads you down to becoming a homeopath or an herbalist or someone that utilizes plant medicine in holistic therapies of some kinds, right? Or someone, for example, that sees the guitar repeatedly in them. They realize that they have a talent for teaching music, or they're great at writing jingles for radio or television, or that they can be they have a knack for audio acoustic engineering or something. So yeah, it's just some examples for how clairvoyance can tie into the intuitive ability of how that can align with your life's purpose. We're going to move on to number 2 now, which is clairaudience, clear hearing. So with clairaudience, your inner voice or messages from your higher self may guide you toward the next steps on your path. And these messages might come as words of encouragement, names to connect with, or instructions on what to focus on. I gave an example earlier about how that happened with me, right? The word passion when I was deep in meditation, and I just followed that hunch. So a way that how you can actually use that, let's see, paying attention to phrases or songs that randomly come to mind. Those are often messages. And I want to share another example of how that happened with me specifically. So not too long ago, I really like to lift weights and I like to work out and exercise. Then I would notice after about 20 minutes of my high intensity interval training with weights and dumbbells, that this song would start to pop into my head. And I'm always listening to something while I'm doing it, but it's like, I'm listening to this music and then all of a sudden this song hits my mind. It was seemingly sporadic. However, this is the key thing that I noticed, is that it was a particular section at the beginning of the song, and it was the lyrics, right? And the lyrics would say, I call upon the purification angel. And I didn't know that's what it actually said. And at that time, because I was doing a lot of spiritual work in this one particular room, and I had just got this book on Enochian magic. And for those that are not aware, that's working with particular angelic beings. And one of the rituals that was in that book is about cleansing and protection, and how you invoke essentially a particular angel for that. And that was out of all of the ones. So the interesting correspondence too, to take that a step further, was that there's a protocol that you follow in that book, and based upon the outcome, one of the things that's recommended for you to do is to start with that ritual, and that was one of the ones that I had to start with. So it was really interesting. Another way that you can use clairvoyance is asking yourself, like, what action is this message guiding me toward, right? So if you're repeatedly hearing phrases or songs that randomly come to your mind, thinking about what is that meant for me to do? Or if like you hear, for example, sometimes people hear ringing in their ears, or they'll hear chimes, or they'll hear other types of things like in the 𝐆𝐈𝐅𝐒𝐒. The 𝐆𝐈𝐅𝐒𝐒 means howling, right? Because typically when you open up those regions of your brain, spiritually speaking, that's the sound that kind of comes through, right? So yes. Moving on to 3, we have clairsentience, which is clear feeling. If you're naturally in tune with emotions or physical sensations, your purpose may involve helping others through things like healing or coaching or emotional support. And your body acts as an intuitive compass, showing what aligns with your journey. And it's really interesting how your body also is like an antenna in a way, right? So really quickly, there's something in the mystical tradition, we understand and know that you can project your intention and thought out into the universe or to a destination, and it can be received, right? So there's actual science to back this up, and the science that backs what mystics have known for thousands of years. This is what we can measure this in labs with instruments that can detect what are known as photons. And photons are essentially just a form of light. Now, when it comes from a person, those are known as, in this context, these are known as biophotons. So these biophotons can be intelligently and specifically directed. And if you imbue that with a particular emotion, right? Let me give you another example. We've all had the feeling or known when we're being stared at, right? We can feel that, So that's your body acting like an antenna. I wanted to give an example of that and a little bit of a scientific explanation that proves that. So yeah, there's a direct correspondence with the photons that are emitted in that process. So other ways on how you can actually use clairsentience to find your purpose, right, is reflecting on which situations energize you or drain you. And these emotions show what aligns with your purpose. So you can use clairsentience to tune into your environment and discover your true north, so to speak. Now, moving forward to the 4th and my personal most prominent one, claircognizance, right? Clear knowing. So if you've ever experienced sudden, unexplainable insights, your purpose might involve leadership or problem solving, and claircognizance helps you to trust your gut and act without overthinking. So how you can actually use that is by keeping a journal and writing down spontaneous insights, even if they seem random. And practice acting on those moments of knowing, right? They become stronger with trust. And that's the key, is you can have the idea, and that's part of the manifestation process, is taking action. So the key is to have it materialize on the physical plane, with taking action. And that's something that will solidify and create some results too. Yes. And so also too, one other thing I want to mention is that your astral DNA, in these private one-on-one sessions that I have with people, when we're uncovering what your prominent abilities are, is we do something which is accessing the Akashic records. And we access your Akashic records and ask your Akashic record keepers, and cross-reference that with your natal chart, your astrological chart. It's the cross-referencing of the two which gives a particular diagnostic about where your strengths are And it can be that bringing awareness around that helps people to feel empowered and helps them to feel more confident in their abilities. And it also too helps to give a roadmap about where to direct their focus and energy on to cultivating these skills. So it's not just like haphazardly pulling something out of thin air. We're actually looking at celestial energies as well as stuff in the Akashic records specifically for you on your journey. So bringing this all together, engaging in your gifts daily, you'll start to notice which abilities feel strongest. And follow the threads too. Your gifts will pull you towards people, places, and opportunities aligned with your purpose. And you start to act on it, how quickly the synchronicities just manifest for themselves. Most importantly is trusting the process. And when you align with the purpose, right? Once again, just those meaningful synchronicities will appear. And that's confirmation that you're on the right path. So if imposter syndrome or self-doubt has been holding you back, I can help you break free. And I've created the Psychic Confidence Power Up package, and it's designed to help you unlock your gifts, align with your life's purpose, and step fully into your potential. This package includes all sorts of stuff: access to a private community, what I was mentioning before, cross-referencing your astrological DNA with the Akashic records. We do a chakra scanning and chakra assessment, and we look at particular blocks and give you tools and practices to help release those. Access to private community. I'm not sure if I already said that. You get a replay of the session, one-on-one session with me, and more. This package includes the one-on-one coaching session, access to powerful tools and exercises, and ongoing support to build confidence in your abilities. And for a limited time, the first 20 people to book will get half price. So this is your chance to level up your psychic skills. So don't miss it. And also too, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss an episode of the Circle of Mystics podcast. And if you haven't already, you can download my free ebook, The Secrets of Psychic Development, a quick start guide. There's a link in the description to grab it now. It's totally free, and you can start developing your psychic abilities right now. Also, I'd love for you to join the Facebook community of like-minded individuals. So you can click the link below and you can connect and grow with others who are on the same path as you, and you can share your experiences. You can get access to goodies in there that are exclusive to members. You can grow, you can ask questions, and most importantly is you can get some validation with people of like mind. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.